All right, have and have not fans. Now, one of the biggest questions about last night's episode, The Right Cocktail, is whether or not Jeffrey Harrington will take up the deal offered by Veronica Harrington to sign the documents that would say that he would testify in court on the Quincy Maxwell murder, that Benny Young was the one that was helping out Candace Young in the murder. I believe it was shifting all the blame to Benny, but I mean, the report file, it was a woman and another person, guessing a male. But in any case, signing the documents would allow Jeffrey to walk free so long as he testifies in court. But the bigger question is whether or not he will really sign it. I mean, he was sticking to his gun, saying that you're just doing this because he didn't want your old ass. So basically, Jeffrey knew that Veronica was pulling a cop out, because there's no way Veronica will let him walk free despite putting him in there to teach him a lesson, unless getting Jeffrey out was about putting a bigger fish into the jail cell, which we know that's Benny Young. So when Veronica pretty much stated that, you know what, we'll get ready to go to prison where it's even worse and you'll be stuck there for at least a year before you can get an appeal. So Jeffrey said that I'll sign, but we pretty much cut the scene on that particular plot of the episode. So we don't know if Jeffrey signs the papers, but it does seem somewhat compelling on what's going to happen next, because in the preview for next week's episode, The Rabbit and the Water Moccasin, we see Veronica in the office of, it looks like, a judge there. So theoretically speaking, if Jeffrey did sign the documentation, then it would make sense that Veronica would waste no time getting him out of jail, as well as taking that paperwork to a judge in order to get the ball rolling. And you're probably wondering, wait, if she's going to a judge, why not go to Justin's wife? She was the judge on this particular case, correct? But I do believe Veronica told Justin's wife before playing the video on the television screen in court that I suggest you sit out from this particular case because it does get a bit personal, hence why she played the video and exposed Justin's affair right in court, and his wife literally stood up and walked out of the room. So it wouldn't surprise me that another judge is working this case, and that's why Veronica went to this guy. And Jeffrey did mention it in the episode preview to David when they get to David's house that, oh, she wanted me to sign those papers to shift the blame to Benny. So there is no confirmation as to whether or not Jeffrey signed it. The preview does seem a bit suspect. It does make it seem like he did indeed sign the paperwork. But you can also say that it is possible that David shows up to the jail right when he's about to sign the documents, or right before he's about to get out. Because for all we know, Veronica leaves the room, gets officer to come in there to uncuff Jeffrey, because she kept saying sign, but it's like, well, he's handcuffed. I mean, his hands are clearly behind the chair. So the only way he can sign is if the handcuffs get undone. So it is possible that Veronica goes out to the front to get an officer, because remember, Jeffrey kept screaming, guard, guard. It's like, don't worry, it's just the two of us here. I'm guessing Veronica goes out there to get a officer or guard to come out back there to undo the handcuffs. When she comes out, David's right there, and it's like, where is my son? I come to get bail on him. And because remember, he does have a judge that called him the night before saying that he can make bail tomorrow morning. So I'm guessing that David could swoop in at the 11th hour to get his son out before he signs those papers, because that was the one thing about that scene that kind of irked me. I'm like, why doesn't Jeffrey ask? It's like, look, this paperwork clearly states if I sign it, then Benny gets all the blame. But if I sign it, will you leave me alone? Will you let me live however I want to live? Because remember, she threw Veronica out. Veronica threw Melissa out. You know, Benny wants nothing to do with her. Hence why she wants revenge. But, you know, Jeffrey, where will he go? Will he go back to her house? Will he try to do his own thing? What's up with that? That's the big question I want to know. What would Veronica do to Jeffrey if he signed those papers? Because you could chalk it up as, you know what, Jeffrey, he's free to go. She wants to get Benny, because to Veronica, Benny is David. No better than David. So as of right now, I'll say that Jeffrey does sign the papers, but I have this feeling that David's going to swoop in at the 11th hour to save Jeffrey from signing those papers, because nothing is free when it comes to dealing with people like Jim, Candace, and Veronica. I mean, it might seem like they're doing you a favor, but in the long term, they're going to come back to haunt you. That's what I'm saying there. But we'll just have to wait and see until next week. And I really don't think he would sign the papers, because it really would be out of character for Jeffrey. But at the same time, it's like, even if you sign those papers, who's to say that Candace won't come after you? It's like, when it comes down to the court case, I still feel like Candace is going to be there in some way, shape, or form. So imagine Jeffrey getting on the stands and then Candace looking at him. But at the same time, they're in the court of law, so you're going to have him being stared down by Candace and Veronica. But we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think Jeffrey is going to cave and sign those papers?